A district court judge blocked New Mexico Governor Lujan Grisham's gun ban with a temporary restraining order on Wednesday. On September 9th, Lujan Grisham announced she would ban open or concealed carry of firearms for 30 days after the fatal shooting of an 11-year-old boy in what appeared to be a case of road rage. Since then, she has been sued by the National Association for Gun Rights, who is arguing that the governor is clearly violating residents' Second Amendment rights. The Judge David Urias argued the governor's 30-day ban of concealed and open firearm carry went against recent U.S. Supreme Court rulings and got in the way of law-abiding citizens' rights to defend themselves. New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres also sent a letter to Lujan Grisham on Tuesday saying that he refused to defend her order, claiming the ban was unconstitutional. The Attorney General also asked that Grisham engage in a more thoughtful and deliberative process rather than taking unilateral action that infringes on the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens. The governor responded, saying she didn't need a lecture on constitutionality. When she announced the ban, Governor Grisham argued she took action because she believes guns have become a public health emergency in the state.
It's disgusting. Look, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think I had the right. I have the right in the state of New Mexico. Public health, it's a suspension. It's not a ban. And we'll see what all of these court actions do. And I did say publicly, look, I got a Supreme Court that says my personal bodily autonomy can be restricted, and yet NRA and other issues, the Second Amendment keeps getting broadened. So the Bruin case in New York, right, that deals with concealed carry. And if that narrow reading of the Constitution, which has been tested in the state, we wouldn't have universal background checks, we wouldn't have a waiting period, we wouldn't have a red flag law, we wouldn't have prohibitions for straw purchases. None of those would have been deemed constitutional, and today all of them are. If you want the community to be safer, show me that you can do that. If you're not going to stand up for these kids and really test as hard as you can, getting fewer guns and dealing with gun violence in a meaningful way, then you're basically saying that you won't be responsible to protect the citizens of the state. Well, I will, and I will do everything in my power to turn the tide and to make sure every New Mexican, particularly children, are safe. I can make any number of statements and already have. In 2007, I was very clear about where I stood in my initial congressional race about gun violence. So this is nothing new. But the rates of gun violence in my state, third worst in the nation, are absolutely unacceptable. And while I see that it is getting more challenging to find strategic efforts that keep everyone safe, that doesn't mean I shouldn't do them. And it's not the only thing in the order. It's about public places. It's about making sure we don't have guns at schools. It's about testing for fentanyl in wastewater at schools and other areas where I think that we have a growing problem. We've got extremists on this question and on reproductive rights. And the issue about the emergency order, the difference here is I had an 11-year-old that was shot and killed with 17 rounds in a road rage. I got a call from a surgeon whose husband was killed in the exact same way in Albuquerque. Violence is growing. Every single investment and strategy, including a bold call to action, has failed. And here, this is about protecting everyone's rights. The Republican governor is about restricting some rights. I think we're going to see these challenges across the country. But I'm going to stand up for the children, and I'm going to stand up for public safety in Albuquerque.